My dad died of cancer, so I started traveling. Hi, I'm Elkie. I've been traveling since 2018, but it was never something I planned. It's something that sort of happened by accident. The story actually starts way earlier. I grew up in the US as an undocumented immigrant. My parents moved there on a tourist visa when I was 3 years old and basically decided to stay for 8 years. So the US was my entire childhood. It was home. But when I was 12, we moved back to Costa Rica. And even though, okay, it's my culture, my language, my food, my family, it didn't feel like home to me. And from the moment we arrived, all I wanted was to move back to the US. Eventually, I finished high school, moved to the city, started going to university, and I got a full-time job at Amazon. I had my own apartment, I was studying, I was working full-time. On paper, I was doing everything I was supposed to do as an adult. But then, my dad was diagnosed with cancer. He was diagnosed around the end of 2015, and by October 2016, he had passed away. Not even a year later. And this was my first experience with death. I wasn't eased into it at all. Life basically just went straight for the jugular with me. One moment, one of the most important people in my life is here, and the next, gone. The worst part is that companies usually give you about a week to mourn, and then expect you to be back in the office. I'll never forget my boss, Caballero. I don't know what strings he pulled, but he told me, take as much time as you need. And I will genuinely always remember that. Eventually, I did go back to work, but losing my dad forced me to confront something I had never really thought about before. How fragile time really is. I remember asking myself one question. If I die tomorrow, would I be happy with the life I've lived? The answer was no. Around that time, an opportunity appeared for me to get certified to teach English. So I took a leave of absence from Amazon and I moved to Beach for a month. And for the first time in my life, I actually felt like I was living. I was cooking breakfast outside, going to the beach during the day, having dinner with my friends at night. My life finally didn't feel like a lifeless routine. When that month ended and I had to go back to my job, I realized how unhappy I was sitting in an office. So I decided I was going to quit and figure things out. My boss asked me to stay until December because it was high season and I was a senior designer, so I agreed. The plan was to move to the beach in January. But around that same time, something unexpected happened. I applied for a US visa and I got approved. It was the first chance I had to go back since I was 12 years old. So I used my savings and I bought a flight to New York to visit a friend. I had no job and I had no plan. I ended up spending 3 months in New York, and then I visited family in North Carolina, and after that a cousin invited me to volunteer in Europe, and somehow that trip turned into a year abroad. When I came back to Costa Rica in 2019, I tried to renew my US visa. It got denied. And I tried to get another visa to be a nanny in the US. Once again, denied. And with that, the dream I had chased for years of moving back to the US felt like it was no longer an option. So the same year, I finally made a move to the beach town that started all of this in the first place. I got my first remote job, and then COVID happened. Eventually, an opportunity came up for me to get Spanish citizenship, which meant traveling to Europe. From there, one country led to another, and I accidentally ended up in Colombia. But oddly enough, for the first time in my life, I felt like I had found home. I found community. I felt stable. I felt happy. And that's when I realized something. All the things that didn't work out, the visas, the plans, the setbacks, they led me exactly where I was supposed to be in that moment. I never planned to become someone who travels the world. But if you ask me today, if you die tomorrow, would you be happy with the life you've lived? My answer is yes.